Shaw and Rayford via Getty Images. The Washington Post has refused to print former President Donald Trump's full response to the in-depth U.S. Capitol riot investigation it published last week, citing a series of unrelated, inflammatory claims from him. The decision follows major backlash against the Wall Street Journal last week after it published a letter to the editor from Trump that was packed with falsehoods and yet was presented without being challenged by the newspaper. The Post noted that Trump's spokesperson Taylor Budowich provided a lengthy written response to its investigative stories that included series of unrelated, inflammatory claims that the Post is not publishing in full. The newspaper instead quoted only sections of the response. Among other things, the Post's three-part series examined law enforcement's failure to heed warnings of the violence that erupted at the Capitol after a pro-Trump rally on January 6. It also exposed how Trump's inaction that day and his repeated falsehoods about his 2020 election loss helped incite the violence, and continues to undermine democratic institutions. It also exposed extensive, coordinated plotting by Trump's close allies to overturn the presidential election while they were holed up in a war room at the Willard Hotel in downtown Washington. One of the plotters, conservative attorney John Eastman, blamed then Vice President Mike Pence for the violence of January 6 because he refused to try to block certification of Joe Biden's Electoral College victory. Incredibly, Eastman did so in an angry email to Pence's aide as the two men were hunkered down, hiding from the mob at the Capitol who were calling for Pence's hanging. The Post, which interviewed 230 people for its series, provided Trump a list of 37 findings reported as part of its investigation. Budowich wrote that Trump greatly objected to all of them, the newspaper reported. Trump also dismissed the stories as fake news and falsely cast people who entered the Capitol on January 6 as agitators not associated with President Trump, the Post noted. In addition, the statement repeated Trump's false claim that the 2020 election was rigged and called leftist journalists and the fake news the greatest threat to America, according to the paper. See the Washington Post's full statement on Trump's response here.